All right, a song called Twisting.
Always have to tell me nothing. Nothing's ever really there.
I think what we kind of had in mind was it was going to be, all right, with the sort of subject matter would be love songs, but the music had to be pretty sort of warped, pretty dark, and drum-wise, we wanted it to be pretty mental, like a bit of a drum sort of symphony in some ways, and a lot of distortion, a lot of warpness to get that side of the emotion, and then lyrically try and keep it a little bit simple, and not try and be too clever with it, and just get the beauty across in that way, and get the balance. It was an interesting process actually, trying to get the balance of the mayhem of the music, and especially with Wiped Out, when you just got that mad fucking drum thing going on, and it's just really having it, and then getting this beautiful melodies over the top, and that's kind of how we started it, and we thought, well, this is how we want to go on, really, and so yeah, in general, we sit and talk about things a lot before we start writing. It's a very important process to make sure everyone's on the same sort of page, as it were.
Loving you would be too obscene. Baby, well, you know I hate you. Hating you would be too fair. I never really know what happens. No, you never really take me there.
After Controlling Crowds, we'd kind of concentrated on a subject of observational sort of subject, and this time round we just fancied doing something a bit more personal. We hadn't written a proper album of sort of love songs since You're All at the Same to Me, and we have done throwing the odd love song in there in many an album, but not actually really focused on the subject. And over those years, a lot of us have been through a lot of many things. So we just wanted to do something a bit more personal instead of it being more observational, really. And it was just So me and Darius talked about it for a while, and I love a love song in general. I mean, our love songs are pretty darker than most. They're not your average love songs necessarily, but it's still part of it. So it's still a big thing. I can't write a happy song. I've never been able to write a happy song at all. It's I'm not a miserable person, but don't get me wrong. But I find it very hard to write happy lyrics. I like writing. I think I don't know. Everyone sort of says that writing music or writing in general or poetry or whatever else, you get a lot of shit out of your system. It's yeah, I think that is the case, and I think that is actually more the darker side of things that you kind of get out of your system. I couldn't write a little happy skippy number. Ain't gonna happen. None of us can. That's the problem. We're all the same. All of us in the band are exactly the same. So. They've gone up another level. I think it amazes me. I think it was I mean, that first bit of Wiped Out was recorded in my kitchen. And it was one of those things that when we first, I wrote Darius had the music, I wrote the lyrics one night. I got a little bit drunk in an evening of an eater, like 1 a.m, sat and wrote the lyrics. Then Pollard was down and just, I don't know, he just gave it his all, and it was just, there's no way we could actually re-record it. It had such a powerful fucking thing to it. It's just like, and if you listen to Wiped Out, if you listen to the actual, all that beginning vocal, all the backing bit of that is all just feedback from my speakers in the kitchen. It's not actually, that's him a cappella, but all the music is actually just all the shit coming from my speakers. And it's like, but we couldn't recreate it because it was such an emotional moment. And I think that's kind of started it. And the beauty is, it's like a bit of a challenge for everyone else, because it's, you know, sort of like once Pollard came out with that, and Dave hears it and thinks, fuck me, I've got to do something good. And he pulls out of the bag, and then Maria and Holly, and it's a great way of doing things. You know, they will have a little bit of competition, but in a very happy, friendly way. You know what I mean? Of like wanting to all be on the same level of sounding great. You know, but I think vocally they went for it in this album. I think it's the best vocally we've ever done.